Hello, a very good afternoon. Welcome back to the Scottish Highlands, and the sun is kind of shining, which if you've been with us since our stage last night, you'll know is really good news. You are very welcome to our coverage of this stage of the fifth round of the 2023 Protyre Motorsport UK National Asphalt Rally Championship. We are on the Dunoon Presents Argyll Rally. It is round 5 of the championship, and it is once again Mark James and birthday boy Phil Sandham with you for this afternoon's stage.
Yeah, thank you for that.
First birthday wish has already come in for you, Phil.
Yes, very much appreciated.
Let's just run through the standings then after the Jim Clark Rally, which was round 4. Just to recap then, we started off on the East Riding stages in Yorkshire. A double header on the Isle of Man, the Manx National, day 1, day 2, each counting as one round of the Protyre Championship. Then it was the Beatson's Jim Clark Rally. We are on the Argyll Rally. Next it'll be the Carried Off Forklift Down Rally, the penultimate round, and then, that penultimate event. But then there are 2 final rounds. The Rally Ceredigion at the beginning of September will be, once again, like the Manx, will be a double header. And so a total of 8 rounds. The final rounds, the final planned round on the military range at Otterburn, not going to happen. Military needing the land back for exercises. And so it'll be Ceredigion that wraps up the championship. Your thoughts, first of all, about double headers? We did touch on this earlier.
Yeah, probably best to explain. The double header means it's one event, but it's split into 2 parts. Usually, it's one day is one event, and the second day of the event is the second part of the event. Is
set like 2 standalone rallies. Yeah,
that's right. A set of points for the first day and second points for the second day, which is quite a lot of points to gather if you do well on them.
Okay, so 8 rounds, 6 to count, so 2 dropped scores. Coming into this event, it was Neil Roskell from your neck of the woods, 101 points, leading the Drivers' Championship, ahead of Callum Black on 84 points. David Wright third on 84 as well. William Hill fourth with 80. John Stone fifth on 69, same as Will Rowlands on 69. So a couple of things have happened since we were with you, well, first of all last night. Quite a few retirements earlier on today. David Wright's gone out. David Henderson, we understand, has retired. And obviously on the stage, this stage last night when it was run the other way around in the dark, John Stone, quite a big accident, took out a fence, let livestock out onto the stage, so no points for John Stone. So still very difficult to call in terms of the overall championship.
It is, because we've got Neil Roskell's doing well. He's probably, hopefully going to end up second. So John Stone's dropped out. You've lost Henderson, he's gone, a points contender. So the lads that are like probably 5th and 6th and 7th, they'll if they finish, they'll creep up the leaderboard and end up in good position.
Should explain where we are. Well, we're on the same stage we were on this morning. It's a loop of 4 stages. Glenduril, Ballachmaim, which is where we are, Lochfine and Whistlefield. We were on this stage this morning when it was on stage 8. We've moved ever so slightly. We've sent cameraman Phil probably about half a mile down the stage, Wayne? Probably, on our second camera. We've moved position to where there were a few incidents this morning, if you were with us. We had 5.5, wasn't it, Russ, cars that went off? One went off and then stayed on, kept his foot in and stayed on, so that's where we've moved to. So this is Ballachmaim 2, stage 12 of the rally, and let me flick over to the live results page to see what the results are after stage 11. which is the stage before this one. Now, you did say to me yesterday you quite fancied Callum Black for the win here.
Yeah, I did. I thought he's on form. He's quick. He's tidy, and I thought they might just pull it off today. So we'll see.
I think you were right, because even though he, I think, came out of this stage last night with a lead of 11 seconds, so he really put in a performance on that long stage last night before, obviously, John Stone had his accident. Callum Black, Jack Morton, car number 1. 43 minutes 28 seconds after stage 11. They have a 49-second lead now over Neil Roskell and Andrew Ruffhead. It was Andrew who said on the WhatsApp competitors group earlier that they had some kind of throttle issue, but that doesn't seem to have been a problem. They're still second, and they're now 21 seconds ahead of Rory Young and Alan Cathers in the DS3 Citroen. They're in third, so a minute and 10 seconds down on Callum Black. Fourth is Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry in the Proton, 1 minute 26 down. Then it's a bit of a gap to Michael Binney and Claire Mole in the Evo 9. Second in class, fifth overall, 2 minutes 16 down on the leader. William Hill and Richard Morton Crozier in car 28, 46 minutes 40 seconds. Third in class, sixth overall, 3 minutes 12 down on the leader, 3 minutes 14, just 2 seconds behind. John Wink and Neil Shanks in the Hyundai i20. Then it's Jock Armstrong and Hannah McKillop, 8th overall, 3:31 down, just a second ahead of Wayne Sisson and Pereira Davis in the Evo. So the Impreza just a second ahead, total of 46.59, total of 47.00 for Wayne Sisson. Lee Hastings and Cole Hastings in the Impreza, 10th overall, 3 minutes 39 down. And then we haven't had Brad Cole through yet, so Darren Atkinson I've got as 47.08, 11th overall, 3 minutes 40. But I know your man Darren slipped a second in class earlier on because Brad's on a bit of a charge.
He did. I don't know what's happened there. Yeah, I just don't know. You noticed that some of the cars that were behind, way down the teens, they've shot up now. They've sort of crawled up the leaderboard. Whether the late stages are suiting them, I'm not sure. But William Hill's doing very well. He'll move up the points, the overall points, today if he keeps what he's doing. If he gets a good finish today, he'll be really high up there.
Yeah, Brad Cole not having come through stage 11 as yet. Should say as well that there were a couple of incidents on this stage, as I think you'd have seen if you were with us earlier. A couple of Mitsubishis went off. There was a sunbeam off into the ditch as we walked out, and they were arranging recovery. And pleased to say that the recoveries worked, that the sunbeam actually drove out of the stage, which we were quite surprised at. But then if there was no damage to the radiator, I'm guessing it was all okay and they could drive it out. And also there's a red van with a trailer which has recovered the Escort that was off into the boonies.
John Stone's Bend.
John Stone's Bend?
Yeah, from last year.
Ah. So, Stuart Lawrenson it was, just looking at the comments. It was Stuart Lawrenson who said, happy birthday, Phil Sandham. 74 today. Happy birthday, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Dean Roskell with us for all of the live streams, I think. Dean, come on, Roski. Surprise, surprise. Dean also wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
And Ronald Ruffhead is Andrew's old man, he says, watching. Come on, Roski, he says. So that's the position that we're in. We are live on a couple of channels on Facebook. We're on the Special Stage Facebook page. We're also on the Protyre Championship page. Let me have a quick look to see if there are any comments there that we just need to say hello to anybody. Also, we are on YouTube on the Special Stage YouTube channel. Yep, couple of comments. Dean Roskell's on that one as well. Come on, Roski. And Pam Roskell's been tagged, and also Graham Avis. Happy birthday, Phil Ladd from Eagland Hill.
Give me a clue.
No, it just says from Graham Avis. Happy birthday, Phil Ladd from Eagland Hill.
Oh, you cheers. Yeah, I remember you now. Thank you.
There we go, you see. So everyone's wishing you well, Phil. Where would you rather be other than a hillside in Scotland on a Saturday afternoon now that the sun is on the verge of coming out? Well, I'm guessing in the
beach in the Maldives.
Well, yes, or even a co-driver's seat in alongside Dean Atkinson. Maybe. How did you get on last weekend? You did say you did Kielder last weekend.
I came third in class in the historic class, over 2 litre class, 25th overall. Man, it was only 67 starters, so it was a decent result, and we got the points we wanted in about 3 or 4 championships. So yeah, very enjoyable.
You're not slowing down though, are you?
No. I'm quite a full calendar actually. Nicky Griss next, then the Scottish, and then I think there'll be Woodpecker after that, I think.
Of course, you know you've got a media career awaiting you now as well after the punditry yesterday and today.
Have a vote, then I don't think I'll get the job.
To be fair, you've been carrying gear, you've been yomping across country. Now you can see what we've been up to.
Opened my eyes to what's involved with the media and what they have to go through. I mean, stuff that's been carried to the site to take the film, like, it's unbelievable. And the rough terrain we've carried it over. Yeah, it's been really strenuous.
And to be fair, we've been helped a bit. We've been helped a lot by some of the local spectators. They have been good, haven't they? They were good with us last night, and the lads this morning, we were slightly delayed due to a Polish digger driver. That's a story in itself. But some of the lads saw that we were struggling to get into position with the various kit that we carry, the satellite dish and all that kind of thing. So they gave us a hand this morning. They're just up the stage from us. So if they are watching the live stream, again, our thanks to them and our thanks to everybody who's helped us. And I have to say, everybody's been really welcoming. And the guys yesterday, they had a couple of beers going. They had a little bit of a fire, and then they tidied up after themselves. And I think a lot of spectators could learn from them.
Fantastic example of from great spectators. Yeah, really good. Yeah, but well impressed.
Oh, fair play. It's my first time on this event, I have to say, and yeah, we've been welcomed. We've been looked after wherever we've gone. So this is our final live stage. As I said, we were live on stage 3 yesterday. Change of plan because of the impending bad weather, and I think we made the right decision to go live from stage 3, and then live from 8 this morning, and then live from this stage 12 this afternoon, which should have got underway. We should have had first car by now, because first car was 8 minutes ago, something like that. And it's a relatively short stage, and we are a couple of miles, 2.5 miles maybe into the stage, so maybe halfway.
Second loop, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So they've been into service, and we were asked on the WhatsApp group what the conditions were like this morning. Well, yesterday we were on stage 3, which was fairly newish tarmac, which was damp when we drove in, with patches of water sort of crossing the road, some standing water. This morning just was wet and got wetter, but this afternoon it probably stopped raining about an hour before the end of our live stream this morning.
I think so, yeah.
And it's been dry since. You can
blue sky.
Hopefully you can see blue skies, little white clouds. Yeah. So we've got better as the event's gone on.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them come through. I think it's down to Callum now. He's got as long as the car holds together.
It's his to lose now, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And Ross keeps plodding on. Something maybe happened to Callum, and he'll have it in the morning. He's reliable, got a reliable car. He's a good driver.
And it then comes down, as we were saying earlier on, to the sums, to the dropped scores. What do you drop? If you've had some disappointing results, right, well, you can get rid of those, and you can concentrate on doing well here, well on the down rally, and then Ceredigion and all to play for. I'm not
sure what sort of scores he's got.
Let's have a quick look. Let's just go back to my overall standings. What's that? 1 minute to first car. So they are slightly delayed. So Neil he's been really consistent.
You see, Callum's hasn't got one to drop yet, has he?
Well, he didn't do East Riding, so that's one of his dropped scores.
You see, whereas Neil's got a full one, got 25, 25, 21, 25, 28, 27. So
and Callum's got a 28, 30, 26, but he's dropped one.
So if he gets 30 this time, that'll mean...
But is he going to go to...
Ross could have to drop a 21. He's got to get another one to keep doing them, hasn't he, to accumulate his points, and he can decide what he's going to do.
Okay.
David Wright, well, he's another one down, so he'll get 1 point for today. So it really rules him out, I think.
Yep. So stage is live, we're told. Really so a couple of minutes. Yeah. David Wright obviously retired here, so it's a retirement on one of the Isle of Man events. The second one, a retirement here, so that's another 1 point. So that's his 2 drop scores.
Which means he's got to go and do the downs.
So he's got to do down and both of the Ceredigion. Yeah. So it's fat lady hasn't cleared her throat yet, as they say.
Yeah.
So Russ, who's with us as one of our 2 photographers, is saying first car into stage, Russ?
Car number 5.
Car number 5 is first car into the stage, so...
You saw, as an outside thing, you might get James Ford come back in the championship. He could score 3 maximums and make a hole in that. He's got a 30 maximum point. His last one he did was 28. He's done 2 events, so he's got 2 very high scores. And he'd come in and clean up, get 3 maximums. He could make a difference to it all. He's not entered today. And he could. It's just
that's effectively 3 dropped scores, then, isn't it? Unfortunately. So. Car number 5 should be Neil Roskill, our championship leader, with Andrew Ruffhead alongside him in the Rally 2 Fiesta. That should be the first car that we see popping into view around that downhill right-hander that caught out those cars earlier on when they ran this stage as the second stage of the day. And I can hear something echoing up the valley. Where we were earlier is probably, I guess, about 300 yards, 400 yards maybe, around the corner, closer to the stage start. And you could certainly hear the engine noise echoing up the valley as they came off the stage start and started the climb up to where we are at probably the highest point of the stage. Not sure if you can hear that in the distance.
That's a bee.
It's one of those horseflies that's replaced the midges. Yep, definitely on. Coming towards us then should be our championship leader, second overall currently, Neil Roskill and Andrew Ruffhead in the Rally 2 Fiesta. You're going to run a stopwatch this time, Phil? So Neil Roskill disappears from view of our first camera. So Phil Bramall should pick him up, indeed, on our second camera as Neil and Andrew head down to him. 2 stages left after this one, remember. And as you said, Phil, Callum Black having a decent margin.
The next one's locked fine, isn't it?
Yes. But this is these 2 stages together made that long stage last night, that 14-miler.
Three seconds up on him.
3 up.
Fire. Sorry.
There are our rally leaders then. 3 seconds up, you reckon?
In about 2.5, 3 mile, yeah. That's what I make it.
What have we got? 2 miles into the stage here because we drove in from the start. So Callum Black and Jack Morton not backing off. Started this stage with a lead of 49 seconds over Neil Roskill and Andrew Ruffhead. So our rally leaders then, 2 more stages after this one, and potentially on course to prove you correct yesterday, Phil, in your prediction.
Don't hold your breath. Not just yet. Yeah, so if he keeps that pace, he'll be going to come out with about a 10 second lead on out of
An extra one, yeah.
So you put that together, he's only got what?
2 quite short ones.
Yeah. You got to sort of equate that to how many seconds a mile it makes, you know. Maths, you've got to work the maths out for speed. He's on it as well. Yeah. I think he's about 2 seconds up on Roskill as well. He's going well, actually.
Yeah, quite short stages today. This Beirlach Main 2 that we're on at the moment, just under 5 miles, 4.93. Then it's Lochfine, 6.45, and 3.33 Whistlefield 2, the final stage of the rally. And the cars should be back in Dunoon for the finish just before 5 o'clock. I think, are going to struggle to get back down there by the time the roads reopen, but we will try and catch up. Possibly not live, depending on how we get down there, but we will be trying to catch up with our podium in the Protyre Championship, and then we'll start to scratch our heads to see what that means for the final couple of rallies. Who needs to do what?
That's it, definitely. Yeah, can't really say much about it until we get back to the finish.
This is it.
Let's get it out of the way first. Yeah, well, it's Rory Young there. He's number 15.
Yeah,
he's doing really well. Yeah.
Yeah, Rory Young came into this stage in 3rd place, so 21 seconds down on Neil Roskill, a minute and 10 down on Callum Black.
He's 8 seconds down on flat.
8 down, yeah.
Jock Armstrong.
Yep, Jock Armstrong, Hannah McKillop,
Yep.
9th overall, 4th in class. And also, just looking at the live timing now, Brad Cole and Neil Coleman have come out of stage 11, and they are 8th overall, 1st in class, with a 46.58. And so 10 seconds exactly ahead of Darren Atkinson with 3 more stages to go. Not over.
Not no.
A wry smile from Phil. As Phil is glued to his stopwatch. Now, who's going to be next through and what are they going to be doing?
Second up on that. Sorry, second up on Roskell.
On Roskell, yep.
He's going very well today.
That is the that's Mark McCulloch, isn't it? In and Michael Hendry in the Proton Satria.
That's it. Holding drive.
Came into this stage 4th overall, just behind Rory Young. And 16 seconds down on Young. 1 minute and 26 down on the rally leader, Callum Black. If you're just joining us, a very good afternoon. Depending on where you are in the world, could be good morning. I know from our live streams earlier we had viewers in Australia and New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, the States, you name it. And of course all across the UK and Europe, and even 1 or 2 in Kenya on the Safari Rally. Hello, Jamie. There we are. I think that said hello. Who's this then?
Two down.
Patrick Walsh in the WRC Fiesta. Came into this one 13th overall, 5th in class. 3 minutes 46 down on the leader, but quite comfortable from William Patterson, who was behind him. Now, of course, it may well be that there are people further down the order, because I'm looking at the positions after... No, you shouldn't have done that, Mark. That was very silly. There we are. So let's just recap on that one. Car 14 it was. Yeah, 13th overall, Kevin Proctor and Patrick Walsh in the WRC Fiesta, 3 minutes 46 off the lead, 48 seconds clear of William Patterson and Tom Hind in the R5 Skoda, the crew behind them.
Four down.
4 down.
That's Michael Binney and Claire Moll. 4 down to Roskell.
They're 2nd in class, behind Michael McCulloch in the Proton, and they were 5th overall coming into this one, 2 minutes 16 down on the leader.
Yeah, what's the difference between them and Mark McCulloch?
Stand by. 50 seconds. But then McCulloch, you see, is 16 down on Rory Young. So that battle for the final podium place isn't settled just yet. It's Black from Roskell from Young at the moment, with the remainder of this stage and then those 2 fairly short stages before heading for the finish at Dunoon.
Yeah.
We've still got stories to talk about, but I think at the moment it's worth us keeping an eye on the top 10 here. Obviously, Phil, very interested in Darren Atkinson, the man with whom you won Class B13 on the Protyre last year.
That's right, last year, yeah. And 15 successful years with him. With a change of plan this year. And he's 9 down on the Roskell.
9 down.
Oh! Really passes in Tom Hind.
Yeah. So 14th overall, but sporting body damage, and we don't know where that's happened. So let me have a quick look at the... No. Let me have a quick look at the various WhatsApp groups. So Ollie Matheson, Gertie, the Ginetta, has had a bit of an excursion into a ditch. We know. We saw it earlier. And it was Anthony Allery that sent the message earlier that he hit a wall. And car 60 that was probably, I think, the first to go off on this stage this morning, the Mitsubishi Evo.
8 seconds.
There's Brad.
Going well.
So currently leading B13. That is Brad Cole, who is 8th overall. First of the Mark II Escorts, Neil Coleman alongside Brad. He'll be pleased that he's doing well, but he's not had the best of seasons.
Yeah, he will be pleased he's doing well, yeah, and if he had to finish, it'd be fantastic for him. But yes, he's a lousy season. Various things have happened to the car. It's just, that's rallying, really. But, people don't realise it costs a lot of money to rally an Escort. Well, it costs a lot of money to rally any car, but Escorts are really expensive to run. You've got to replace parts before they break, basically. And, well,
yeah,
long story.
Back to the stopwatch.
11.
11 down. Lee Hastings and Cole Hastings, that is. They are 11th overall, 3 minutes 39 down, but they are a second ahead of Darren Atkinson.
Yeah.
So, depending on how Darren gets on, he might well move up to 11th overall. Obviously, not competing with Lee in terms of class, and he's still quite a way down on Brad. 30, so 16. No, where's plus 340 plus 330? No, 10 down on Brad. 4 down.
John Winks and Neil Shanks.
Yeah, we talked about the yesterday. I think we saw 2 of the Hyundai R5s. Yeah. I think we're down to 1 now. Did we say we were 87 cars running after this stage the first time this morning? So I think we've lost a couple since then. So we're probably down from the nearly 137 that started the rally. We're probably down to about 80 now. And let's see if we've got any stage times in from this one.
Just 2 Hyundais.
Yeah, I think there were 2 on the entry list. I can't remember seeing 2 past us this morning. So where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars through this stage, and it's now 55 seconds. Callum Black leads Neil Roskell.
Sisson, he's 11 down, well down.
But you know, Rory Young and Alan Cathers are only 13 seconds down on Neil Roskell, so they could still grab second place, even though Callum, as we said earlier, it's his to lose now, nearly a minute up, 55 seconds up, with just these 2 final stages to run over Neil Roskell.
And you will be aware with Alan Cathers behind him. He's keeping an eye on the times, and we're thinking, excuse me, I can't relax too much.
Sorry?
He's not going to relax his Neil, he's going to keep going for it.
No.
He's only 15 seconds behind him, he's going to keep Alan as well. So that's an interesting battle.
Needs the points, particularly with Callum on course for a maximum here. So let's have a quick look down. Yeah, we've got everybody down as far as William Patterson, so we've got 8 cars through the stage. I'll keep an eye on the timing.
That's Richardville.
And it's yet another flavour of Fiesta, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's not as powerful as the R5, but it's like in between the R2 and the R5. It's supposed to be a low cost entry into the higher echelons of sport, really.
Rory Young's gone quickest on the stage in terms of stage times, 2 seconds quicker than Callum. So, here we go. We were talking earlier on about Saudi Arabia. David's been back on, David Roberts, watching us from Saudi Arabia. It's 5:15 in the afternoon, so what's that, 2 hours ahead? Not quite so far away. Lee Gandy watching from Liverpool. Hello, Lee. your neck of the woods. Ollie Hunter. Hi, Phil. Great performance on the commentary. You have a fan in Ollie Hunter.
3 seconds up on Brad.
3 up on Brad. So they were 10 apart going into this stage. You reckon 3 up, unofficially, of course, at this point. So Darren Atkinson, far from giving up in that battle with Brad Cole in the escorts in B13.
He won't worry about overall position. He's just probably about scoring points in the championship.
In the class, yeah. Although we were saying that Brad's had a miserable year, so he could do with a decent result. But I think Darren's going to be tough to catch.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But Brad sort of obviously, if he gets a finish and does well, it'll up his confidence a lot and make him want to continue in the sport. Although I don't think he's probably want to give up in the sport, but it certainly books you, it gives him confidence. And he's on it, like he's on the pace. So it's good, yeah. Great.
Good. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll also try and keep an eye on some of the comments that you're sending in on either Facebook or on YouTube.
David White, number 18, and Phil Hall. Phil Hall's been around a bit. He's quite a young co-driver, but he's been to the MSA Academy, which is way through there, and doing with quite a few drivers. So he's an experienced guy.
Good. Just looking for some comments on YouTube, and Craig Wilson, I think it is, who's in Dunoon itself, got to be one of the closest viewers to us, watching the stream in Ingram's Bar in Dunoon. Good afternoon, Ingram's Bar.
Sounds good.
We'll be down to see you later on. Oop.
It's a Spritzel, right? Morrison, that.
39?
Yeah, Montana.
That's the second page.
30 something, yeah. There you go. Gordon Morrison and Ian Parker. They don't seem to be on it there.
Isn't it interesting how it's the spectators up around those sort of 2 very close together right-hand bends? That's where we were getting the clues from earlier that there was a problem, that you'd get the ooh from the spectators sat across the other side of the valley. Someone else coming towards us.
Ones to build that, I think, the Subaru. Barry of Gownwater, yeah, Scottish champions lad.
I've now found out who Graham Avis is. Remember you were saying earlier you thought you remembered him? Paul Murphy's neighbour in Lancashire. You are synonymous in this neck of the woods with Darren Atkinson. Ah, big smile, now you know.
Yeah.
Good. So then just to recap, we are on stage 12 of 14 on this Dunoon Presents Argyll Rally. It is round 5 of the Protyre Championship for 2023, the Protyre Motorsport UK National Asphalt Rally Championship. It's Mark James and Phil Sandham stood stage side. We are west of Glasgow, so we're probably about half an hour's drive up from Dunoon, which is where Rally HQ is. Stood alongside us is producer Wayne, as ever, who's looking after our first camera, but also the technical side and the satellite and goodness knows what else. And it's also Phil Bramhill, who's further on down the stage, probably a couple of hundred yards further on down, and he's looking after our second camera that you can see. So that's the team that's bringing you this rally's coverage. Unfortunately, I'm going to be missing the Down Rally, so it'll be Paul Woodford once again, my colleague, who will be bringing you that live stream in only a matter of a couple of weeks, actually, by the time I think about it. And then it'll be both of us, I think, that'll be beside the seaside in Aberystwyth in West Wales for the Rally Ceredigion at the beginning of September, which will wrap up the championship. Steve Wood won the title, you'll remember, on the Isle of Man last year. Steve not had the best of starts to the championship. We were on the East Riding stages, and Steve didn't even get to us, having changed cars before the start of the season. Went off into a ditch, I think I remember. We were on stage 1, didn't even reach us, and Steve not doing this event. So it seems that the championship defence from Steve Wood is, I won't say non-existent, but it's not likely to happen. Steve Wood currently 11th in the championship with a retirement on round 1, a 24 points and a 27 on the 2 Manx rounds. Didn't do the Jim Clark, hasn't done this one, so those could be his dropped scores. So potentially the down rally and 2 good results in Ceredigion could lift him back into contention. But, you know, when we were talking about the championship permutations, oh, marshals are just chatting to the spectators down below us. But yeah, the positions of the championship going into the Isle of Man last year, the final round, was one of those things that we were trying to work out all the various permutations. We'll do it again, I'm sure, in Ceredigion this year. But 2 drop scores, so 6 to 8, 6 to count from 8, excuse me. Ah, that's what he was saying. Sorry, Wayne. So there's a 5-minute gap, we're told, because of a previous stoppage. That must have been on the previous stage, I guess, because they would have left service on time. Now, you started to tell me a story about the RAC rally, and you were chuckling about it, and you said, make sure you remind me about that story later on. Well, what was that story?
It was, I did the RAC in '87 with a lad called John Morton from New Clitheroe, and he'd had an Subaru RX Turbo 4-wheel drive, but it wasn't like 4-wheel drives we know them today in Subarus. It was a 70-30 split, and for the rally he'd emptied the car, took all the heating out of it to make it really as lightweight as possible.
In November? In
November, and we had a right good spell of weather up to the start of the rally, and we got there, we were last as usual through various problems with the car. It was overheating, this, that, and then we rushed to get into scrutineering. Fortunately, my wife was organising scrutineering, she held it open for us. We got there, got through there, went back to the hotel, all set for the following morning. Woke up the next morning, there was 6 inches of snow on the ground. This is in Harrogate. Wow, what a disaster. So we set off, and you went into the forest like, and every bend you looked at with this car, you went straight on. It just sort of really uncontrollable. I think we got through about a day and a half, 2 days before this one. I think it was in Yorkshire Forest, long straight. I called it, I kept calling it, it's all right, whatever. There you go. 7 seconds, that's Angus lorry, an Evo. Anyway, I called the bend and we went straight on in the snow, just sort of touched the tree. So revved it, trying to get it straight in the wheels, nothing happening. So these 2 figures jumped out from behind the tree, and one went to the front to start pushing, the other one came to the window, knocked on the window. Why do you window down? Why do you window down? And John just
told him where to go?
More or less, yes. I won't swear. Told him to where to go. Who the hell do you think you are telling me what to do? I said, you knew that was, John.
Go on.
That was Phil Short and David Llewellyn. I thought, you dipstick. He said, yeah. So
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and off we went. Eventually, I think, cooked the engine. Yeah, it was a good laugh at the time. We look back at it now.
Phil Short's name came up in conversation earlier on, because hopefully we'll see it on this stage. Didn't see it last night because it had a problem overheating on the way to stage 1. We do have a short wheelbase Quattro on the event, and Phil Short, until a couple of years ago, had a road going one. I don't even want to think how much that was worth.
Phil has some exotic cars as had in the past. He lives in Ilkley. He's been very poorly just recently, but he's getting back on his feet now.
If you do see him, pass on my regards. Had a lot of time for Phil on the WRC when we were doing stuff.
He has a lovely house at just the back of Ilkley, and he has his gardens. He opens every year. The Ilkley people that got nice gardens, he open them up for like charity. People walk around and walk through like it. It's a lovely garden he has. Yeah. Well,
He's into cricket, Phil, isn't
is
he?
he? I didn't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think he organises, or certainly used to, a day at the Test for his mates each year,
Right.
and they go down and have a lunch and a bit of watching the cricket. Sounds like a lovely way to spend the afternoon.
He's got a room there in his house. He's got all his past memorabilia from his rallies, all the guys he's been with. I mean, it's fantastic the amount of drivers he's been with, the knowledge he's got. It's unbelievable.
I'm sure Phil won't mind me telling this story, but he was employed by Mitsubishi as somebody who knew the rules backwards. And each of the teams had somebody like George Donaldson or Lewis Moyer, who's then at Protyre. But in Rally Australia, Tommy Mackinnon had jumped the start on one of the stages, and they'd been very clever, and it was the first rally to bring in timing beams, so they knew that Tommy had jumped the start, and they had the printout, and they knew exactly, so they were going to penalise him a minute. I'll continue the story very shortly.
Going well, 7 seconds down.
John Rintoul, that is, in the WRC Mini with Ross Hind alongside. And Phil went into the stewards at the end of the day with Tommy and said, we absolutely do not question the fact that Tommy jumped the start. And so everybody, including the clerk at the course, was very pleased with themselves. And then Phil said, please would you show me anywhere in the regulations where it says the penalty for a jump start is a minute. And they'd been so clever that they'd introduced this, the timing beam and everything else. They'd forgotten to actually tell you what the penalty was if you did have a jump start. So Tommy would have effectively gone out of contention for the World Championship at the time. So they kind of ummed and ahed and looked at each other and thought, he's going to take this to the FIA, isn't he, if we get this wrong. So they said, 10 seconds, okay. And he went, there we are, 10 seconds, thanks very much, good night. So Phil, full marks, he knew the rules backwards.
That's an interesting story. I've never heard that one before.
But they all had somebody, usually, in fairness, a former co-driver who knew the rules well and whose job it was to look at things like that and say, okay, we do have a problem. However, the rules say this.
He worked at, it was at M-Sport for quite a while, until he retired, I think. And John Millington was up there as well, famous co-driver. Yeah, and what do you call it, Tully, Ian Tully's there, he was a regular navigator, co-driver.
Ken Rees was at Subaru, Protyre, with Lewis Moyer, as I mentioned. George Donaldson was there. He was at Toyota, Team Toyota Europe, was then at Protyre, and again was there to tell the team, this is what the rules say, this is what should be happening.
Yeah. Now
that was the livery I was talking about earlier on the earlier live stream, where there are some classic liveries, and we were talking about DTV, the dealer team Vauxhall, the silver with the little sort of red and green flashes, and I was saying about the Rothmans Escorts. Well, that of course is the colour scheme, but it says Bothmans. That's what I was trying to think of. That's the word that I was trying to think of. But you look at that car and you know immediately what the colour scheme is.
Yes, who looks at it and thinks that. Yeah, it's a great car. It sounds well. It's probably a lot faster than the old works cars were, but yeah, it's just the same as the Subarus. Like with the what was the numbers on the Subarus? A cigarette.
555.
555. Yeah, and the colour scheme, like you don't see many Subarus that aren't blue. They seem to keep that blue, don't they?
Yeah, and also originally when it was Protyre and the 555 World Rally team as was, gold wheels as well.
What was the registration number? BAP, a GAP or something like that?
So it was British American Tobacco, which was the parent company of 555. And then when Carlos Sainz drove for them, it was 555 REP, R-E-P, because Repsol, which was his sponsor.
Yeah.
So, it was something, I think it was usually L555 and then 3 letters. Strange the things you remember.
Yes. Yeah.
We have a look at comments. I'm sure somebody's going to either pick us up on something or say, oh yeah, I'd heard that story, and also did you know? Oh, here's a new overseas viewer. Gareth Phillips Griffiths, got to be from my neck of the woods. Watching from Thailand. Awesome coverage, thank you very much. Ruth Atkinson, come on Darren. Love the stickers on the back windscreen. Dennis would be so proud. That's really nice.
Yeah, I know if people probably on Facebook have noticed the photographs put on today showing the rear of Darren's car in memory of Dennis Quinn, passed away a couple of weeks ago, and it was his funeral last week. Darren had some fancy stickers made to fit on the back wind showing Dennis with his rally car and his date of birth when he passed away. And I think Darren's sort of rallying today for him, because he meant a lot to Darren, throughout his rallying career. And it's through him that I met Darren. Long story that, I think I mentioned that on Friday night, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple of comments actually. Chris Brand is saying Phil Sandham doing a good job doing DQ proud. That's a nice story. Hello to Duncan Jordan, 10:20 at night here in Perth, Western Australia. David Roberts asking, is the Quattro still running? Do you know, I don't know.
Nope.
I think, judging by some of the comments coming in, that they're through stage 13. So let's have a quick look at this, because I think the battle between second and third is 3 seconds now. So Callum Black and Jack Morton have a lead of 1 minute and 7 seconds after stage 13. So just stage 14 to go. But Neil Roskell and Andrew Ruffhead second, 1 minute and 7 seconds down, but just 3 seconds clear of Rory Young at Navan Cathers in the DS3 Rally 2 car. Mark McCulloch fourth, 29 seconds behind Rory. So worth keeping a look at that battle then between Neil Roskell and Rory Young for second. But I think that, barring, let's not say it, but Callum Black and Jack Morton are now just one very short stage away from winning the Argyll Rally this year. And you were bang on with your prediction.
More carry chickens well hatched, let's just see. Smith's still going.
Yep. And it was that car that went off on that right-hander that you can see just on the start of the first shot that we're showing you today. And it was Spectator Power that got him back on. Then there were a couple of Evos, I think I remember, going off.
It was a red one.
It was a red one. And then there was the Ginetta that kind of half went off and got back on again. And then towards the end, there was an Escort that went off and was just too far off the road and couldn't be pushed back on, so that had to be recovered. And that's the one that's just up in the trees over there on the back of a trailer, and it's service crew. You see the red van over there, and then as we were walking out, there was that Sunbeam that was wedged in the ditch.
How's your mate Brod doing?
He's not through yet, so he's
running in front of Darren, so he should be, shouldn't he?
well, after I think he's still 10 seconds. I think he's still 10 seconds out of Darren, but we'll keep an eye on the results from stage 13. But yeah, that battle for second, not decided, just one stage remaining. And yeah, podium positions, I suspect, on behalf, yeah, Rue Campbell has flagged up Black over a minute ahead going into the last stage, and 3 seconds between Roski and Rory, says Dean Roskell. No need to ask who Dean is going to be shouting for. So we'll keep an eye on the live timing for you. But you are on stage 12 of the Dunoon Presents Argyll Rally, round 5 of the Protyre Motorsport UK National Asphalt Championship. It's Mark James and Phil Sandham keeping you company for probably another hour or so, and that will wrap things up for our coverage of the event.
See that lifted the wheel up on that bend there.
Yeah, going well past us.
Fine.
Popping and banging as he heads down from us, down towards where Phil Bramill's on our second camera. Dean Roskell's comment, I'm on the edge. Hopefully the edge of your seat, Dean. We will keep an eye on that final stage time for you. Cool, these horseflies are quite persistent, are they?
I don't know what's worse for the midges of horseflies.
Well, Phil came back to the camera Phil came back to the van last night after we'd finished on that stage, and it was full on dark by the time we'd finished, and he turned up at the van door with a mosquito net on. So he'd obviously prepped very well for that event. I'll have to remember that the next time I'm doing one of these in Scotland.
Sam Adams, the Northern Ireland driver, he's not doing as well I thought he would do. I think he said to the various people that he's not happy, he's not settled in well on this rally. Something not quite working for him.
Okay.
These sort of things don't suit escorts. Narrow tracks, twisting, turning. You can't get the power down. It's like long sweeping straights.
And also, the road surface on this stage very different to the stage we were on last night.
Definitely, yeah. It's been fractured in places. Half decent job as well, but oh, not bad. It's 10 seconds down.
And we keep saying that there's also competitors not only in the Protyre Championship but in the Scottish Rally Championship. There are some live streams around from our colleagues covering that championship, if you keep an eye open. Another comment from Dave Hall on Facebook. Come on, Roski, got everything crossed. 3 seconds, that's all it is between second and third places with one last stage remaining. And that stage, he says, quickly flicking over to the timetable, that stage, Whistlefield 2, should be getting underway in about half an hour's time. So there's a little bit of time to build the pressure, build the tension, and then that's it's only a 3 miler, so that's a second a mile. Not sure. And then they've got the short road section, 13-mile road section into Dunoon and the finish podium. One thing we haven't talked about in this event is road rally cars. We saw quite a few of them on Ceredigion last year, you know, the four-door escorts.
You did, yeah.
They obviously come out on the events like Ceredigion, where the whole road rallying culture is different.
Yeah.
I can't remember seeing any road rally cars on this one, because they do look quite...
I don't think there's been an escort without arches on.
No, that's what I was going to say.
You won't run a road rally through here, I don't think. You know, that's on the Rally Bay, the roads they use on the stage roads are the road rally roads they use, which is a totally different scenario to this.
And also last year when we were there, the first evening was run in the darkness, so those guys were perfectly at home.
Oh. He'll be chuffed if he gets a finish.
Yep.
Yeah. He's getting the hang of the car now, building confidence. Yeah, keep building confidence. A few more events from his belt. It'll be a force to reckon with, I think, as long as the money holds out.
Wayne, were you saying that there's no dark stages on Ceredigion this year apart from the town stage in Aberystwyth? So all in daylight. So will we see the road rally guys out again? They seemed to go well last year, certainly in the first night when they were in their element, and then potentially the following day when people could see where they were going, they didn't suffer so much of an advantage.
I didn't do it last year. We didn't do it last year. No, we missed it. We didn't like the event. We did it in, I think it was 2019 we did it.
It was the first time it ran.
Yeah. We got a puncher and we weren't carrying a spare, would you believe?
Ooh, schoolboy error.
Yeah. Not my fault though this time. No. It was because I didn't call a rock on the inside, but I did do, but I rubbed it out on the notes. We'll laugh about it later, like, it wasn't at the time, it was a bit of a dispute.
A tense moment in the car,
It was, yeah. And I could blame, I said, well, it's not my fault, you've got a spare wheel, I mean, bloody hell, come on, you should have
taken a punch, I should have taken a spare.
Don't listen to whatever, I think it was one of the lads in service crew said, oh, don't take a spare, carry it, you know, be light. And you're all right.
You know, talking of spares, somebody made a comment earlier on I think one of the WhatsApp group that Neil Roskell took 2 spares earlier. So he was obviously concerned about the threat of a puncture, or potentially would he have done a swap and put fresh rubber on?
Could have done that like a lot of lads do it in the forest rallies. I've never done that before. This last year I did it loads of times with Nick Dobson. If the tyres too worn, you swap them round to get the best treads on. Other than that, Mark Holmes. They put fresh tyres on, and you get a puncture in a stage, long stage, another 30-mile stage to go. You got to have two in case you get a puncture again. False economy, really. As long as you've got to get them in the boot. Well, it's extra weight, like, but
Success ballast, isn't it?
You're splitting hairs like with weight job, I think. Well, you see most of the top drivers have got little co-drivers, but never one of them
Little jockeys sat in the co-drivers.
Yeah, people are really concerned with the amount of fuel you take on board this time. I suppose you analyse everything, yes, it makes a difference to weight, like, but you only got something D2 to take into account, something like that, and you've planned for the route and how many miles you've got to go. Then you shouldn't have a reroute extra 25 miles like you. Dicky's weather, aren't you? It's just not worth winning, being so far with it. David Hardy. You really struggle around there, don't you? It's not as easy as it looks.
I'm wondering if there's something on the surface just around the corner that just kicks them offline or something. We've not had and again I hope this doesn't jinx it, but we haven't had the problem that we saw on that first stage this morning when we were here this morning, if you know what I mean. So the second stage in the loop, that's what I meant. But people haven't had the same kind of issues. But then it was, road conditions were different. It was still wet. There was still at the time I think it had just stopped raining, so it was all a bit greasier. Whereas I have to say, if Wayne gets a chance and just shows us a nice big wide shot of the sky, we've actually got blue sky, proper blue sky. It's really nice. It's hot now.
Fabulous, yeah. Yeah, fabulous, as best as it can be fabulous, yeah. Yeah.
I do hope we see that Audi Quattro again. Whoever it was mentioned and said, is the Audi still running? Not the only one who's hoping for it still to come around the corner.
Certainly be able to hear it, that's for sure. Oh, Ian Foreman, McKay. I bet he's having a whale of a time, that.
Yeah, remind me that wasn't the original plan, was it?
It was an R5, wasn't it? Yeah, he had a massive accident last year in the R5. I think he broke one leg at least, possibly two. And I came across it, I was doing a forest rally and it was about 5th or 6th car along, and yeah, it was a horrendous sight, him laying on the floor there. Fortunately, Laura Connolly was in the accident with John Stone yesterday. She's a paramedic, she was tending to him, which we were lucky really. And the car was an absolute mess. Massive accident, really. And I think Chris Lees, who co-drives for David Henderson, he got away quite luckily, really. It just was stiff, I think, and he was rallying the next week. But yeah, it was a massive accident. But yeah, I'll say, he drove that Ford, and his wife drove it on many single venues events, and he sort of got out of it. He bought the Fiesta R5 as a sort of to go faster, basically, and do
Christmas present to himself.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what he's done with it, what's left of it.
Should also say, if you weren't with us earlier on, John Stone and Laura had a fairly big accident by the sounds of it on this stage last night when it was run. These two stages run together as a 14-miler. They took down a fence and let livestock onto the road. John, we understood quite quickly, was fine. Laura was taken to hospital for a checkup, and she actually posted in one of the groups this morning that she's fine, bit sore, but it just seems to be soft tissue damage, so she was thanking everybody. So good news. Accident last night, but Laura, John's co-driver, is fine by the sounds of it, so we're very, very happy about that.
Nice, isn't it?
Another R5 on its original Preston registration, which would come out from M Sport.
Yeah, I presume so. I'm trying to find the drive. My paperwork's a bit.
Yes, from 2 days of being rained on.
Yeah. If it was well organised, I would have a plastic sheet already.
You'll know for next time. That's a look that says, not coming back. I've done my bit now.
I think every car driver should be made to come and do this job. Certainly an eye-opener.
In a good way, Phil.
Yeah, it is. And sort of tell a few tales. As long as you're old enough to tell them, right? That's Jonathan Stepney and Alan Davis. Let's hope he gets a finish. A disastrous year so far.
Talking about telling tales, telling stories, I don't think we've got all of your stories out of you just yet. One of the spectators that was helping us carry the kit earlier on was saying, so did you ever do the RAC rally when it was the proper RAC rally? Now, I was only ever a journalist. And you remember 60-odd stages, none of them used twice, and it was, 3 nights out of bed. Phil's counting on his fingers of both hands, I think. How many times did you do that event?
7 times.
7 times.
5 consecutive years. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and I think it was 95. So I did it in various cars. First one, an Astra GT. I didn't finish. I did it in a Manta 400 with Ian Hall to finish that one. Then the following year I did it in a Sierra 4x4, which I finished. And then after that it was a Subaru RX Turbo with John Morton, then Lancia Integrale Group N, then Lancia Integrale Evo, like a massive, like, and we didn't finish that. We knocked a wheel off in Dalby, I think, on the second day. And then I did it in with Stephen Clark in the Suzuki Swift. Yeah, in 96. We were winning the class by 7 minutes, and we went into a water splash. Too fast, and what they call hydraulic, it got water in the engine, it busted the engine. Yeah, crazy. 7-minute lead and lost it.
What was it like? We'll let the next car go through, but I can remember when I used to follow it and drive through the night and dash to get to the next stage, and it was an adventure as a spectator, as a journalist, whatever, just to get there and to cover the rally for, right the way through England, Scotland, Wales. What was it like as a competitor?
It was fantastic. A lot of organisation. We had the 85 when I did it with Dave Metcalf. It was in Astra GTE. We had my builder's van, and we had his mate. He was another builder. He had a blue CF van, and we organised it so we'd leapfrog service areas, and we also hired a motorhome. So the girl, my wife and a chap we knew who was like a chef could follow us around at the main service areas and cook us food. And it was a real maps, 3 sets of maps, probably had about 80 maps for each crew to fully mark up. None of this like you see now on Spotify. And it was a fair old accomplishment getting it all out there. Then you'd have to make sure you'd get passes sent through the RAC, stickers for your car to get you in everywhere. So what you'd do, you go to the Signs Express shop and get it all photocopied so it didn't cost any extra money, unbeknownst to MSA. A bit like things you have to do like to get around it.
Needs must.
Yeah. And it was a phenomenal experience.
The one thing we've not really talked about, and you've touched on it, we briefly touched on, say, 3 last night, Dave Metcalf. You were with him at the beginning of his career?
3.5 years. Not quite. I was about 6 months after he started rallying. He's the lad that serviced for us on the RAC. He was his first co-driver. I think so, yeah. I think he did a single venue with a local lad. And then he sat with him. He did 3 or 4 forest events in the BTRDA. Then he ripped the back axle off his, had a Pinto Escort in Greystoke. And then I got asked to sit in with him. And we went up to the Northumbria stages. It was tarmac rally. I think it was. I'm not sure. I think it was all tarmac. It could have been a bit of forest, but we went up there. We were like car 60 something like that. Then we came 3rd overall in absolute horrendous conditions. Poured down all day. Yeah, it was a real fantastic finish. And then we did a couple of other events. Then we went. He built this Mark II Escort 1600 BDA. We did the BTRDA Championship. think there was 8 rounds, we won 7 of them. 6 of them retired on one, come second in class on the other. And we went to, right near the end of the year, I saw they were giving help to go to Germany, called Weiler Rally. And I entered that. We got like free accommodation, this, that, and the other. So that was an expedition. Set off on the Thursday, drove right through the day, overnight ferry. Fridays, got into Germany, and there was 250 entries in this one-day event, international sort of thing. And it was in like a picturesque, Christmas scene village. 250 entry. The wine queen waving us off at the start ramp.
Sorry, there's the other Hyundai.
We got put up free accommodation, got put up a few miles out of town. We got paste notes supply. Well, the paste notes totally different from what I've ever seen, and it's unbelievable, like reading from the top to bottom. Anyway, set off and threw them in the back. And there wasn't no, like in the forest stages, there was no warning, like this waving at us. To go on camera, waving at us.
Doing the actions, folks.
Yeah. One of the stages was a Nürburgring, 13 mile, I think it was, part of the stage. And I think a guy called Manfred Hero in a Porsche was doing it. I think it was a Reynolds, one of them fancy works Reynolds. And there was a Porsche and we lost a lot of time, probably lost 60 seconds to him around there. But we got out of there and we had a bit of a, I think we got into service, there was a bit of a hoo-ha, like we had to only get so many minutes service, and I think I might have made a mistake on how long we had this. Anyway, we didn't lose any time, we got out there and carried on the event. It started to go dark then because it was winter, and we actually, and in the afternoon, all the spectators were like cheering like mad at us, like every bend we came, but crazy England, and they were shouting. Anyway, we got to the finish, like we were like, I think we were 8th overall, wow, after 250. Yeah. And there was I think there's 4 other English crews went out. We went out in convoy, went down to Calais and went across. As soon as we got off the boat, one crew went wrong way, and we never saw them again until we got to Germany. And then went back, slept, went to prize giving the following morning, set off about 10:30, 11 o'clock, caught the ferry about 5 o'clock at night, and I think we got back Monday morning about 8 o'clock, and I was at work for 10, something like that, some weekend.
Blimey.
Yeah, that was experience, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody who's done rally and competed certainly has got some kind of story about. I mean, when we were coming up yesterday, Paul Morris was driving and just happened to drop in that he did the Silver Fern Rally in New Zealand, which is an awesome event. And I've never been. I've been to New Zealand to the WRC round, but you can imagine Mark IIs and the like in New Zealand stages. Must be absolutely brilliant.
The only rally I'd want to do, I think I would like to do that one.
A couple of our Protyre competitors. So
But I think it'd be nothing worse than retiring 400 miles away from your base and have to make your way back. But I would imagine you'd have a support car to get you back.
But then again, so that was Graham Mutter and Steve Hallmark, that was, car 78.
He's not been through, has he? No, oh, Malcolm Carlock.
No Archie?
Oh, Malcolm, who hasn't been through? Pushing like hell, like young lad.
Now, we're about 13 minutes or thereabouts away from the final stage of the rally. Now, obviously, we're not live streaming it, but we are keeping an eye on the live timing. Callum Black and Jack Morton, they currently lead the rally by over a minute and 7 seconds to be exact, from Neil Roskell and Andrew Ruffhead. However, second place is only 3 seconds ahead of Rory Young and Alan Cathers in third in the Citroen. So that's a battle that we're definitely trying to keep an eye on in the next 20 minutes or so. A little 3-miler, the final stage of the event, and also, oh, how's Brad doing? Let's have a quick look. 57, 53, 58.09. So 16 seconds now between them, between Brad and Darren. So yeah, so that's after 13. So one stage left. Looks like Brad has got the class win from Darren, which is, I know, a battle that you've been keeping a very close eye on for obvious reasons.
He gets the win, well done to him. Yeah. He's beaten down and deserves it.
Some bad news. Rue Campbell has messaged us on Facebook and said the Audi went off this morning. So came past us, didn't come past us last night because it overheated on the way to stage 1. Came past us this morning. We commented about how lovely it looked and how lovely it sounded. Unfortunately, from what Rue is saying, went off this morning, and so we're not going to see it this afternoon. So what do we say? 80 cars or thereabouts, we think, are going to come past us on this 12th stage of the rally. And I should have guessed. My phone has finally given up the ghost. And we do need to keep an eye on that that last stage. How's your power use away? I think we've got a power bank with us. I promise not to overuse it. Oh, another one of the Forenzas. Actually, I'm not correct there. It's the first of the Forenzas. We'll see the DTV liveried car a little bit later on.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, he's going well, is Keith. You got the car working for him now. Well impressed. He's got an entry in for the RAC this winter. What they're going to do in that, I don't know. There's the money involved.
Wayne, you're a top man. Let me give you the microphone for a sec, Phil.
Okay.
Put my phone in. Yep, that's powering up. Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Microphone holder extraordinaire. So what have we still got left to see? We've got the other Forenza. We've got a whole host of minis to go past us. We've still got the Avenger. I don't think we're going to see that Sunbeam that had to be pulled out of the ditch. So I think we're probably only going to see one Sunbeam. Or have we already seen one?
Yeah, I think we've seen one.
I've seen one.
Yeah.
Photographer Russ is nodding. And sadly not to see the Audi go past us.
It sounded like a pig, but look at
It wasn't great. But the Ginetta is still going. Car 95, the Ginetta, had that little oopsie, or half an oopsie earlier on. Russ is laughing. That was the. Ooh. That was a bit violent of you.
It was. Yes. Like Nick Hurd and Oliver Matheson in the Ginetta, yes.
Beverley and District Motor Club. The Exotica. Okay, we talked about the Audi. That's about as exotic as you can get a Group B car if it's.
They must have been animals to drive when they were.
Well, didn't Juha Kankkunen say something that he would have been something ridiculous, like 4th overall on the Rally of Finland a couple of years ago? I mean, obviously the modern cars go around corners and handle better, but the brute power of the Group B cars, you know, in a straight line, those cars will take some catching. And he'd worked it out somehow that if he'd done that year's Rally Finland in a, I don't know, 205 T16 or something, he'd have been 4th.
Wow.
Mind you, if we're talking about statistics like that, wasn't there something about the time of the Group B cars with the Lancia Delta S4 that they did a stage at Estoril Racing Circuit, and if they'd been involved in the Formula One qualifying that year, Henry Toivonen would have been something like 4th on the grid in a Group B rally car.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because of his lap time.
Some car.
I don't know if that's a true story. Certainly someone told me quite a while ago, and I quite like that story.
Yeah, well, someone probably come in and tell us something different.
Oh, the BMW's still going.
Muckley, is it? Must be historic, that car. It's got historic plates on it.
No, it's on Isle of Man plates, so it might well be that it's the black and silver plates mean something in the Isle of Man. I don't know, but
It wouldn't have been out that long, that car. 20 odd years.
There was one event, it might have been the East Riding, where there were a couple of 3 Series BMs. So we were saying last night, I think, that, you know, if you're looking for a relatively cheap rear-wheel drive fun car to go rallying, actually, you know what, and you want something different to a Mark II Escort, BMW 3 Series.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's you can get the right reliability is the thing. Power engine-wise is not a problem, I don't think. He says a few people running them. There's a few lovely cars about, but I don't know. I think it's a car I'd go for.
I don't know. Is it easier to try and attract? Here we go. Here's a car, prime example. Now you don't see many metros like that on stages. Is it easier, do you think, to get sponsorship from, you know, for a car that's a bit out of the ordinary? Are magazines or papers more likely to publish pictures of a car like that?
I would imagine it's what the company's after, isn't it? What sort of coverage do they want it, who it's going to appeal to. Well, they're rented on rule, but they're a father and daughter team. I think there's a garage. So friendship's a problem for them, and little sponsors. But I don't know. I don't know how sponsors look at a thing. Obviously, it's going to what's better the business at the end of the day. Coverage. Like Darren's got a new sponsor this year, Alvin Fisher, an Irish company actually, but they've just got the feedback. This last few years, they've got the series swelling up lots of little branches all over the northwest. Okay. The builders merchants. Best to look to them. Anyway, he's managed to get sponsorship there, and they're really into it at the moment. So good.
As I can remember, the Ford RS200 that did an event with no sponsorship, but with lots of little panels with numbers on them. Right. And they asked spectators afterwards which numbers did they remember. Right. And that then dictated how much they charged for those panels on the rally car for sponsorship. Now this is Group B era. Wayne's looking at me like I'm mad now, but seriously, I'm pretty sure Russ is nodding. Yeah. RS200, plain white, with lots of these little blocks saying which numbers did you remember. Somebody hopefully will go, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Mark. Please.
Yeah. Well, I'll see. I can see you. Yeah. Reasonable.
Right, I am well aware of what's happening time-wise. Sounds glorious, doesn't it? Right, I've just dialed in stage times from the finish of stage 14. No one's there yet. The stage not due to get underway for about another 4 minutes, but I am keeping an eye on the overall times. Just to recap, if you are still, or if you've just joined us, Callum Black and Jack Norton leading the rally by 1 minute and 7 seconds from Neil Roscoe and Andrew Ruffhead. However, Rory Young and Alan Cathers are in third, just 3 seconds behind Neil and Andrew. So second place still very much up for grabs. Only one very short stage remaining.
Yeah, that's very interesting, those two cars, when you get to the finish.
And the other battle we've been keeping an eye on, of course, is Brad versus Darren.
Sounds like Brad's got it in the bag.
It sounds like Brad has got it in the bag. However,
like you say, the old fat ladies things.
Yeah.
What's the saying?
Hasn't cleared her throat as yet, remember, but this 3-mile final stage is all that's left. And I just wonder what's going to happen to that second place overall. And then we'll be heading back down to Dunoon, probably doing some sums, although is it worth trying to speculate what's going to happen in terms of dropped scores? I think we just take it as a win or as a maximum points, and then we move on to the down rally, and I'll let Paul do the working out. Absolutely. Car 105.
105, which was Callum McLeod and Laura McLeod from Mull Car Club. Still going strong.
Okay, we've been kind of joking. Oh, it's another Mull Car Club entry. Fair play to them. They've had a lot of cars come over for this event.
Well, they might not be all from Mull. They might have sort of like entered a rally, and Mull have had something to do with it, and had to sort of join Mull to do the rally. That might be the case, but
Still.
Still, yeah. Yeah.
This event is Mold Car Club. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay, minute away from starting this final stage then. And we're just keeping an eye on the times. We don't, sadly, have a camera on that stage, but we will bring you the result as soon as we have it. Yeah, Citroen. And there am I. Once again, if I can give you that to hold. Phone's playing up. Wouldn't you believe it? Just to add to the jeopardy of it all. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage over the last day and a half or thereabouts. With last night's stage in the dark, in the forestry, in the rain, in the midges. And this morning was rain to start with, and it did get fairly miserable at one point. We had the mist coming in over the top of this stage. But then this afternoon couldn't be more different. The weather's improved. Forecast wasn't great, but I have to say it's been absolutely lovely this afternoon. Warm, horseflies admittedly, but
down a bit, haven't they?
yeah, I think so. I think they've got the general message that they're not welcomed. Either that or the satellite dish has put them off.
Yeah, horses.
Bit of a gap. Oh, someone is coming up towards us though. I can hear a rally car approaching us. Yep.
Sarah Hunter and James Braithwaite, Mold Car Club again.
Yep, 205.
Yep.
Still waiting for times from stage 14. I'm trying to refresh. But it's a couple of battles that we're looking for. And again, hopefully not jinxing things, but Callum Black and Jack Morton should have this rally victory in the bag. They go into that last stage with a lead of 1 minute and 7 seconds. And it is nice to see a Mark 1 with the big arches and everything.
I think there seems to be more Mark 1s on doing the forest stages like the historic class than the coming out on the tarmac. Probably value them more.
But it's interesting to see, you know, companies like Phil Mills' Viking Motorsport down in Newtown. They're now, and have been for a while, producing effectively new Mark 2s and Mark 1s for historic rallying, and they do these events like the Silver Fern and the classic Safari Rally. They go out and do that.
It's a fair industry, I think. It's a lovely colour scheme. Mark Booth and Callum Young, that's the laddie place the Scottish.
Yes, you were saying with the wheelchair, yes.
I'll be pleased if he gets a finish as well. Protyre registered. Callum's from Clitheroe.
Talking colour schemes, it's going back to this business about sponsorship, isn't it? Anything that makes the car more recognisable and more attractive, more likely to get, I don't know, published in the local paper or whatever, so it gives a return to the sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what the company's promoting as well.
Still nothing so far from stage 14. Not as far as I'm aware anyway. So as I said, Callum Black a lead of over 1 minute, but Neil Roskell and Rory Young second and third going into the final stage just 3 seconds apart. Pulling over, you can see the co-driver pointing. So puncture. While you watch this little drama unfolding, I'll keep trying to refresh the result from 14. Stage started, in theory, 4 minutes ago. We were slightly late starting, weren't we? So there could be a delay. Just adds to the tension. No, okay, board out, so the Citroen will be going no further. And even though the Citroen's pulled up quite close to the radio marshal, not sure if you can see there, the motorhome that's parked up has a radio marshal sat in it. The crew retiring, showing the OK board to the next few cars so they can report back and say, yeah, passed a car in the stage and they are OK. But of course these days we've also got the tracking system run by Craig Parry. Saw Craig in Dunoon yesterday, really good to see actually. Another former co-driver putting something back into the sport with this tracking system, which obviously helps with the safety side of things. So not only ourselves, but the rally organisers, and for that matter, spectators can actually keep an eye on the cars and see where they are. And if there is a problem, you hit the SOS button, and the cavalry comes in. So the stage gets stopped, and you get the rescue services out to you. So full marks to Craig for investing quite a bit of money into that safety system. Oh, why do you taunt me? The first two cars are through stage 14. Callum Black and Jack Morton, it would appear, have won the event, 56 seconds clear. So Neil Roskell has taken time out of Callum Black on that final stage. But what has Rory Young done compared to Neil Roskell? 3 seconds apart the pair were going into the stage. And isn't it typical? First 2 times through, not yet Rory Young's time. So we don't know whether Neil Roskell finished second or third on this event, but the winner, it would appear, and the maximum championship points go to Callum Black in the Rally 2 Ford Fiesta. But Neil Roskell, second or third, and I know, judging by the comments on the live streams, we're not the only ones keeping a very close eye on the timing situation for that 14th and last stage. No, Rory Young is through. And he's slower than Neil Roskell, so 8 seconds the gap between them. So Roskell has finished second. So top 3 on the rally looks like this: Callum Black and Jack Morton, Neil Roskell and Andrew Ruffhead, and Rory Young and Alan Cathers in third place. Obviously, we have to say it's provisional, but that's the way it looks, as those 3 cars are out of the 14th and final stage of the rally, and they'll be heading back to Dunoon and the podium ceremony, and that's where, fingers crossed, we will catch up with them after we get clear of this 12th stage of the rally. But we still have competitors on the stage, and we've still probably got another 15 minutes or so, Wayne, looking at the tracker, to go. But we have a result to the rally, and that battle for second place having been decided in favour of Neil Roskell, so he's really upped his game on that final stage, Phil.
He has, yeah. Maybe we should have tried a bit earlier or put a bit more pressure on Callum, but it's good he's got a second. That's great bag of points. He'll be happy at that.
I think it was, though, I mean, you mentioned it yesterday before we started the first of our live streams, but Callum, I think, was going to be tough to beat here.
Yes, I said that. He's on good form. Obviously he missed the first round or 2, but I saw him on the Isle of Man. He was really on it, and David Wright was really chasing him, but it was just too much for him. And Callum's had a lot of experience over the last 3 or 4 years with decent machinery, and I think Neil's a great driver. He's only been in the R5 probably 2 years now, and he's a late starter, and he was in the Subaru before that, so probably Callum's got a lot more experience than him, but Neil's come on leaps and bounds this last 3 years, unbelievable. You know, you couldn't have imagined what the position he's in now and what he was. So yeah, good second place. Well done, Callum. Yeah. Yeah,
very well done to him.
And a good drive from Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. The top 3 deserving their position, but well done to Callum on taking the win provisionally, as I keep saying. But that's the position as they head back to the awaiting bottles of champagne in Dunoon, as we have probably about 20 more cars, I reckon, to go on this the 12th stage, including a flurry. What did we agree on of minis? A gaggle of minis that'll be coming towards us, and a few of the cars that we mentioned earlier, for example, as the Avenger that we've not yet seen, and a fair few Mark II Escorts still to come. 87. That's it.
Andy Scott, Protyre.
Yep.
Yeah. He's actually rallied in Bahamas, but if it's the same bloke, we used to talk about this today. Is it the same Andy Scott? He's been to the Bahamas. If he's done the rally 5 times out there.
Barbados, do you mean?
Barbados, what I said, the same in the Bahamas. Yeah.
What was that? A fortnight ago? Yeah. No, it wasn't last week, was it?
Not sure if it's the same one. He's another one that got Kevin Proctor in the R5.
Right.
Might be.
Producer Wayne
I think
chipping in.
this the other day, didn't we? Talking about it.
Off mic, of course. Do I dare trust this phone to quickly have a quick look at at comments? Let's have a quick look around, see what people are saying. A comment about Dawn must have shouted at Roski down the phone or something.
Yeah. Mick Quinn and Chris Walker, not Cleo.
Danny Cosgrove saying that Clucky lives out on the Isle of Man, hence the Manx registry, a registration, I guess. Andrew Campbell says, thanks for your coverage, guys. See you at the Scottish, Phil.
Oh, great. Look forward to seeing you then. Cheers.
Good, good. So, yeah, Dean Roski's finished second, good lad. And then Dave Hall commented, Dawn must have shouted well at him. Fair play. Right, let's have a quick whiz around what other people are saying on the various live streams that we've got. Another happy birthday wish for you from Pat Quinn.
Oh, thank you, Pat.
Oh, lovely comment. Dennis was always so proud of you. And obviously this from Stephen Roskill. Come on, Roski, get your finger out. Well, we know that he did just that on the final stage. And so it is Neil Roskill who finishes second to Callum Black on this Argyll rally, round 5 of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. My phone is about to die for the second time, despite producer Wayne lending me a power bank. So I'm afraid the comments are what are going to have to make way, because I'm going to try and keep an eye on those stage 14 times because of the battle between Brad Cole and Darren Atkinson. It's the one that we've been keeping an eye on. Obviously, Phil has got personal reasons for keeping an eye on Darren's times.
I want to see him win the class, but it doesn't look like he's going to do so.
No, Brad and Neil, Brad Cole, car 26, is through the stage, and we're just waiting 1, 2, 3 more cars when we get Darren's time in the probably second in class, we think. But as we were saying earlier, because Brad's had such a disappointing season, probably Darren's going to retain that title that you won with him last year.
It looks like it, we'll see. Yeah, as like you say,
Let's not jinx it.
Still points to play for you. But that'll be well chuffed anyway. You won't be too disappointed, I don't think.
Another Honda.
Fabulous sound.
It does sound good, doesn't it? The red H badge signifying the Civic Type R.
Go on YouTube and watch the Irish lads in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Exciting.
So let's have a quick look then. So 9 times I've got through the final stage. So it looks like this so far, but obviously cars yet to come may have a say in things. Callum Black, provisional winner of the rally in the Rally 2 Fiesta. Second, Neil Roskell. Third, Rory Young in the Citroen. Mark McCulloch and Michael Hendry in the Proton. Fourth and first in class. Minute and 31 down on Callum. Michael Binney and Claire Mole in the Evo 9. Fifth overall, Brad Cole and Neil Coleman in the Mark II. First in class, sixth overall. 5 seconds ahead of Kevin Proctor and Patrick Walsh in the WRC Fiesta. Then it's Jock Armstrong and Hannah McKillop in the Impreza, and Lee Hastings and Cole Hastings, 9th overall. 4 minutes 51 seconds down on Callum's time. And incidentally, Jock Armstrong and Kevin Proctor on exactly the same time. 1 hour, 1 minute 17 seconds, 4 minutes 28 seconds, exactly the pair of them behind Callum, our rally winner. Lee Hastings, Cole Hastings, the final time through I've got so far. Wayne Sisson has now come through the stage. 10th overall, 4th in class, 4 minutes 32 down on Callum. And John Wink and Neil Shanks in the Hyundai, just popping in a time ahead of Brad Cole, dropping Brad down to 7th overall, but as I said, time still coming in. And John, minute and 18 down on 5th placed, Michael Binney. And 3 minutes 54 down on Callum, so still keep refreshing the results page just to see what Darren Atkinson has done in terms of the class victory, but I don't think Brad will have had a problem, certainly from the times that we're seeing. So it would appear, and again I don't want to jinx it, but it would appear that Brad and Neil have won their class, finishing, we think, either 7th or 8th overall. And where were they going into that stage? Now, Darren's time should be through next. Yeah, 8th overall Brad is. William Hill and Richard Morton Crozier in the Rally 3 Fiesta, having gone 7th quickest, 7th overall, excuse me. 4:04 down on Callum, 19 seconds quicker than Brad. Now, hopefully within the next minute or so. Where is Darren's time? Oh, you're not going to believe this. Darren Atkinson, 1 hour, 1 minute 11 seconds total time. Brad Cole, Neil Coleman, 1 hour, 1 minute 12 seconds. He's done it by a second.
Brilliant.
That was me jinxing it, you see. He's done it by a second. How remarkable is that?
We were quick last time on that stage, so yeah. Oh, great. That's good. He'll be spitting feathers, old Brown, if that's the case. All right.
He was, what, 10, 12 up at one point?
He was.
Because he did. Because Darren said he was going to take time out of Brad, and did for, I think, one stage. Yeah. Then Brad fought back, got ahead, and we'll find out the stories, I guess, when we get back to Dunoon. But yeah, but he's done it by 1 second. Fantastic.
Spitting feathers. 1 second. Well, he beat us by 2 seconds last year, so it's maybe. There you go.
Retaliation.
Oh, that's good.
What a good. Oh, good story.
Good start. Yeah, it's been great for me watching it.
Oh, don't ask me questions like that, Wayne. I don't do sums on a Saturday afternoon, you know that. I'll leave that for Paul to do in the next round. I'll tell you what, there have been a couple of retirements in the Protyre front runners. So let me have a quick... let's have a look. So Neil Roskell was leading coming into this event ahead of Callum Black, then David Wright, so DNF, then William Hill, then John Stone, DNF, then Will Rowlands, then Darren Atkinson, who was 7th, 67 points. So we've moved past John Stone, who was on 69. Yeah, 3rd or 4th, I think. Oh, in terms of the podium, sorry, I was thinking about championship positions, and I was trying to do the sums, which, as you know, is not my strong point on a Saturday afternoon when the sun is shining. Oh yeah, so a Protyre podium for Darren. Potentially. Yeah.
It's Craig King and Russell Joseph in the Mini.
Cars according to the tracker left.
10 left, yeah. Thank you, Russ. According to the tracker, 10 cars left to go through this stage 12. Oh, we've got a drone. That's I didn't think that was allowed, Wayne.
Sorry?
I didn't think that was allowed above a rally stage. Oh, okay. I suppose a bit of a public safety announcement here. Please, folks, don't fly your drones near rally cars. That's not a sensible thing to do. But it's yeah, it's hovering over us, and it's actually hovering right above the stage at the moment. And okay, there's only 10 cars left, but the whole idea is you don't fly a drone over a live stage.
Usually they're in the Ukraine, like, aren't they?
See, Phil, this is a microphone. When you talk loudly, it picks up what you say.
Unfortunately.
You've done this. This is the 3rd time you've done this now.
I'm not used to it.
You should be getting good at this by now. Yes, they do use them in Ukraine, Phil.
I don't know.
And they normally drop things from them.
That's it, yeah. I'm saying it's good to see so many lady drivers out.
It is. Do we have 1 or 2 all-female crews this weekend? I know we've got a couple of female co-drivers.
We've got quite a few lady drivers as well.
But do we have all-female crews? I think I remember you talking about 1. There we go, I've given you some homework to do.
Oh yes, Lindsay Henderson and Sue Hind.
There you go.
That's right, that's 1. I think that's the only one I can remember. We've got several lady co-drivers.
Yep, Kat Lund is with Kevin Hazelden in the Mini.
That sounds like a lady's name.
Sharon with Brian McPhail.
Terry Bates. That's just in that page alone.
Yep.
And we've got Anna, Laura,
Claire Mole, of course, with Michael Binney.
We've got Nikki Addison, Nikki Addison, Jane Nichol,
2nd of the Mark 1 escorts having just gone past us.
Charlotte McDowell. That's a fair, good handful. Ashley Will.
Yeah, I'm looking for all female crews. I think there's only 1 that I remember.
I think so. Caroline Lodge, obviously we mentioned.
Yeah.
Kirsty.
Yep.
Helen.
Eilish. So yeah.
Female.
Yes.
Male.
Yeah.
Laura.
Laura with Callum.
Actually, Sue. I mentioned Sue.
Yeah, with there you go. Sue Hind and Lindsay Henderson. Was that was the one you were talking about earlier on in the Fiesta?
That's it, I think. Yeah.
I think it's just them then.
We'll probably win the ladies' prize then.
Do they do still? Do they have to be a minimum number? Is it three competitors for a class?
There
we are. I'm looking at photographer Russ as I say that. 8 left from the tracker? Because it was Russ that said 10. So 8 cars. So before long we'll be starting to wrap things up. And then we've got a, we think about a half an hour or so drive back down to Dunoon. So fingers crossed we'll try and get you the podium ceremony, although I think it'll be very, very unlikely that we'll be doing it live. So watch out on our, certainly on our Facebook channels later on for a wrap-up. Hopefully we'll get a chance to chat to our top 3 Protyre competitors on this Argyll rally, but we'll be doing that, I think, delayed, so we'll try and do it maybe as live, or we'll try and edit it together for you as a little package later on. The cadet.
Steve McLaren, Ian Anderson.
Now you see, I was so concerned about looking at the car and whatever, I didn't realise Opel Team Sweden on the side.
I saw that previous time. I didn't mention it though. But
You should have done.
sorry, we've lost the white cadet. That's not come through.
Yet.
No, it was running an early runner with the Millington engine. Yep. Alan McDowell. Alan McDowell.
The white one. The white
It's a white one, yeah.
So from memory, we should still be getting the Avenger through, and then a couple more minis.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. 131's the Avenger. And the Mini. More. 136. That's John Nicholson and Carrie Bates.
There it is again, we mentioned it on this morning's stage. If you could bottle that.
Yeah.
That is definitely Castrol R.
You've got memories.
Spectators of a certain age will know exactly what I'm talking about. Have we seen Kevin Hazelden through yet? 132, the red Mini.
Shane Gamble and Bob Ward.
Looked a little bit of a handful coming down towards us.
I remember my brother getting a Cooper S, 1275. I couldn't believe how fast it was.
Yeah.
Coming from an 850 Mini into one of those. Oh, unbelievable.
What was the Cooper S? 1275? No, that was later on, wasn't it?
12, well, no, a Cooper. Well, was it that? When that was it? 970 was the first one. That was a Coupe, Mini Coupe. Was that wasn't an S? I don't think. Then they made a 1293 was the last one they made. There was a 1075, I think, Cooper. I think it was a Cooper. I'm not sure it was a Cooper, so a Cooper. 1075, I think that was it. There's one with a long stroke with a short stroke.
Ross saying we think there's 2 more on the stage.
137, 132.
132 and 137, we think.
137, no. So we've lost the, in that case,
We've lost the Avenger.
Yeah.
So 137, another of the minis, and 132. Oh, so 2 minis left.
Potential.
And in fact, 132 is Kevin Hazelden, who's the red mini that I was mentioning earlier with Cat Lund alongside.
Harvey Stephen and Craig Hardiman.
So we think just 1 more car remains, which will be another mini, that of Kevin Hazelden and Cat Lund, and then that will bring our live proceedings for the weekend to a close. So time to start doing thank yous, I guess. Or is that a little premature? thank you as ever to producer Wayne for all the technical, and it's been quite challenging this weekend, Wayne, with all sorts of satellite equipment and lugging things around. Indeed, there is Kevin Hazeldine.
Car 132.
Hazeldine, not Hazeldine. She did searching. Hazeldine. So, thank you to producer Wayne, and thank you to cameraman Phil, whose shot you are looking at the moment. And talking of Phil's, a huge thank you to my minder, my carer, my co-commentator, Phil Sandham, who's been with me for 3 events. Have you enjoyed yourself, Phil?
I have. It's been very challenging. I hope everybody listening has enjoyed what I've had to say. It's been difficult to say things. It's standing here for 2 hours at a time. It's pretty not easy at all. So I hope I've not let you down.
We haven't done too much repetition, though. We've told some stories.
1 or 2, yeah, we told some good stories. I could have told a lot more if we had time.
But we'll have to get you out for another one then.
Well, maybe in the future, if I'm still here.
He didn't say no, folks. He didn't say no. Phil, thank you so much for your company. It's been really enjoying, and it's been great to hear the stories.
It's been great to be part of the team. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Good. So that brings us to the end of our live coverage then of the stages here at the Dunoon Presents Argyll Rally. My thanks to you for your company for the last... Oh, there is the Avenger! Fantastic! Do you know, that's made me smile. And it wasn't showing up on the tracker. Don't worry, Russ, I wasn't going to blame you, but I am very pleased to see the Avenger is still running. As I was saying, thanks to you for your company. Do watch out later on that we'll try and catch up with our podium finishers once we get back down to Dunoon. That's going to take us a little while to get there, so I don't think we'll be doing it live. But it'll be Paul Woodford who will be looking after you on the down rally, and then it'll be Paul and myself, all being well. That'll be in Ceredigion in Aberystwyth at the beginning of September for the final 2 rounds. The double-header that'll round off this year's Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. But from me, Mark James, and the team here on a very sunny hillside in Scotland, a very good afternoon.